Olá!
Here we go.
Here we go. Olá! Heavy Culture número... Que número nós estamos? 23. Pessoal que está nos assistindo, estamos aqui com alguns probleminhas técnicos com Denis, mas estamos resolvendo ao vivo. Quem sabe faz ao vivo, né, Ivan?
É.
Boa. Seja bem-vindo, Ivan, Miguel.
Olá,
Grande
Jorge.
prazer estar com vocês de novo.
Olá, Ivan.
Hey.
Hi, Snake.
Can you hear me?
Snake fazendo os últimos ajustes.
We'll be trying again. As we were saying, there's a problem with technology. Indeed, even in 2020, we are facing some issues with technology.
Killing technology.
I would like to ask you to go around your phone, and you'll see something like there on your device, cam and mic. If you go there, if you look there, maybe you will find the place where you can allow the camera and microphone to work. Okay, the camera is working, although he went away. Muito bem, nós estamos a tentar resolver aqui as questões técnicas e vamos ver se agora já ouvimos. Hello?
Listen.
Can you hear me now?
Now we hear you.
Yes.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
So, let's start this.
God damn it. You guys.
Killing technology.
Okay, so what happened here? We are on a triangle. So Portugal here. There you have Brazil, and let me see, and Canada over there. Canada.
Welcome, Denis.
So I believe you are Denis Bélanger.
Okay.
Essa é a pronúncia?
Oui,
I believe so.
Denis Bélanger.
This is the second time I meet you.
How are you guys?
We are doing great now that we can hear you and we can see you. We are doing great, and we would like to talk about music, to talk about Voivod, and I have to say something to you. So let's start from the beginning. And the beginning, I was thinking of doing something like this. I'm so glad that the aliens have delivered you back on Earth. Believe me. Welcome to Heavy Culture. And sometimes when I'm reading your lyrics, I have to tell you this, I have the feeling that you've been abducted and brought knowledge to spread with Voivod songs. Ooh. And then this makes me ask you everything we need to know on one single question. What? Who? When? Denis, tell us.
Tell us what? Sorry.
All we need to know is what, who, and when.
Acho que está tendo delay.
What, do, and where?
We are talking about the aliens, the universe.
Sorry, I don't get it.
Man, you are an inspiration, and that is why I'm asking you these simple questions that you know everything. I believe so. You have been abducted and brought back to Earth to spread knowledge. And this is why I ask you what, who, and when.
Acho que a imagem dele tá lenta, tá travada.
Acho que é a
Well,
conexão.
I don't know about that. I just try to do my best, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's funny how it's funny how it's funny how sometimes things happen, like especially with the last record and some of the songs I wrote in 2018, like for the last album, The Wake. There was of the lyrics from, you know, songs like Orb Confusion and stuff like that. It was almost like seeing in the future what would happen in 2020. It's like talking about fake news and viruses and global confusion. And so yeah, sometimes it's weird. You write stuff and then things happen. It just happens. So I don't know how can you call it? It's just sets of lyrics. I'm telling you. So what's the situation over there?
Sorry, could you repeat?
What is the situation over there in Portugal and Brazil?
Situation.
Okay, I can tell you for
what is the situation with the virus in Brazil and Portugal?
Okay, in Portugal, Snake, I can tell you that I believe it's under control. The virus is under control, although there are some places where the numbers are, you know, always growing a little bit, and then there's a tighter situation where the authorities, you know, try to close, you know, things up, and of course we have some casualties, and like everywhere, you know, in the world, but it's not so bad as so many countries. I don't know if you know the Spanish situation. Some months ago there were thousands and thousands of deaths, and we are next to them, and comparing Portugal with Spain is like having holidays. So the situation here, I believe, is not perfect, but it's okay. Brazil is a different story.
Brazil is growing a lot, Denis.
Total chaos.
Total chaos. We are taking care of yourselves. No more. Take care of yourselves. Podemos seguir, Miguel?
Yeah, the situation. How about in Canada? How are things in Canada?
Yeah, that's all we have to do, you know. But it's such a good time for music. Well, in Canada, it's a large country, so the situation in the West Coast is not so bad, but here in Quebec, it got bad at a certain point, and then, you know, we had like because there was a lot of death and cases, and here in Quebec, I don't know what happened, but in the beginning of the pandemic, it spread out really fast, and so then after we went into a lockdown, and you know, and it's weird because as soon as it gets better, they open up things. You know, it's like as soon as they have like a result of okay, we have the situation under control, then they reopen the restaurant and they reopen the bars, and and then boom, 2 weeks later, you know, fucking everything explode again, and so I don't know what's going to happen in the next months, but I think we're the worst part of Canada for cases and death here in Quebec. In the west side, it's not so bad, but here in the east side, we got it really badly right from the start. So.
Okay.
Hello, you guys are there?
Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't hear. Okay, so let's try to go for Voivod and do the best we can to keep safe. And you guys, I hope that all of you are safe, and you and your families, and that you really have time to write songs, to get ready for the new record that I believe you are doing at the moment. And this takes me to ask you what's going on now. I think that we should tell people that don't know yet that you'll be playing a streaming show for the universe on the next 9th. Can you tell us something more about this? Your show, your live stream that will be online for everyone around the world?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're invited to participate. It's like a show, but it's virtual. We'll be sitting in a studio with I think 8 or 10 cameras, and it's going to be streaming. It's going to be like a real show, like a complete show, like an hour, maybe an hour and a half kind of thing, and it's a small place, and we have the opportunity to interact with people. So people can, let's say, put a comment, and then we're going to play like 2-3 songs, and then we're going to watch the comments, and then we're going to interact with people between songs. And that's, I think, well, maybe it's the new way to do things now, but it's going to be interesting. It's the first time we do such thing, and I'm really excited about it. And I think, well, I guess, we want to play, and that's the only option we have, really, to let people know that we're still alive and we're still making music. And the last show we did was actually in last December, in Turkey. After that was the last time we played, and so it's been a long time. It's been 8 months, and so we're really dying for it. We really want to, play music together. We didn't have a chance really to be together during the pandemic, so everybody was staying at home. The only thing we did was a isolation video that we did. We played 2 songs. Everyone was at their own place, and then that took place, I think, in April, and that's the only thing we did. And we work on some songs, but not together, not being together in the same spot. So as for the streaming show, it's August 9. It's gonna be my birthday.
Oh.
I'm gonna turn 56 years old, and I didn't want to celebrate by myself, so I'm gonna celebrate with the whole world. And it's gonna be interesting. It's something that is really Um, um, I'm excited about all that, and it's just like it's a new thing, you know. So I'm kind of nervous because I just want that all the technical stuff respond correctly, and so we won't have any problems with the streaming, with just like we did, and and hopefully everything, all the technical stuff will be okay, and it's going to be interesting to do, and we're going to put a lot of effort to interact with people, and so I'm all excited about it.
Okay. Do you believe that
August 9,
folks can ask for a song?
4 o'clock Montreal time. It's the show, so people in Europe.
I believe that.
Maybe, wow, depends. We're gonna play like a set list, but I don't know if people can actually ask for songs, and then we'll be like, okay, we know that song, like, because we didn't practice for fucking 8 months. So, but one thing for sure is that we can say hello to people. I know a lot of friends in Europe and even in Brazil and everywhere around the world that that real fans of Voivod. I'm sure they're gonna say, "Hey, do you remember blah blah blah? I was backstage." Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I imagine that it would be like that. But it's a new thing, really, and I'm all excited about it because, for one thing, it's a new thing, but it's something that I'm nervous about, because it's going to be weird playing a show in front of cameras and nobody's there,
Nobody's there.
But let's go for it. It's just like let's have a try and see how it goes.
I know it will be perfect. The first notes, and you are free. I believe that. Let me ask you, how's the End of Dormancy reviews are going at the moment? This new EP. Okay, I'll do the question again. Let me ask you, how's the new EP, the End of Dormancy reviews are going?
Yes. Yeah, it went pretty fast, and everybody seems to like it. It was fun to do that song. Sorry.
Tem que repetir, Miguel.
Okay.
What was that question?
Okay, we are having a delay, so let's try to wait a little after asking a question. So, I was asking you, and you were answering about the people's reaction to the End of Dormancy. The way it sounds, the way you are still almost 40 years and doing awesome albums, and also having new ideas of joining different instruments on your records. I know that live there are some very interesting instruments that are unusual to Voivod. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm very curious. Who played these different instruments on this live show that you did on a jazz festival? Who did play that?
Travou?
Não, acho que é alguma coisa de som.
It was organized by Chewy. He knew a lot of people because he's a teacher in music. So he teach music in college, and so he would musicians, and actually the song itself, "The End of Dormancy," some kind of horns, and that's what the plan was. And so he has a few people there at the school that he knew from the past. I think it was like 2 trombones, 2 trumpet, and 1 big tuba or whatever. And so it was like 5 guys in total. And so when we did play the jazz festival, when we played that song, we invited these people on stage, and they set up, and actually Chewy wrote all the parts of each instrument. So, and each one of them has a different part, So, but all together it creates one music and one part of music. And so, but he managed to write everything for everybody. So everybody had like a sheet, and we did I think we did 1 or 2 rehearsals, and from the first time I experienced the brass, and in the rehearsal, with that particular song, it was fantastic. It goes so well because it sounds almost like a soundtrack of a movie, and it created a whole kind of vibe around it. And people at the jazz festival, well, in the first place, it was pretty unusual that a metal band plays at a jazz festival, and everybody was surprised, but and they enjoyed it. I think it fits because it's metal, but Voivod is also a lot of things, and what I understand about music is that music is music, and it can go from one side, from left to right, and so on. And so we were pleased to participate at the jazz festival and to let our inspiration going. And with all these brass instruments, it created such a strong vibe to it, and it was fantastic. We had a blast. But that's why we wanted to release the record of that particular moment, So I think people like it.
We do. Let me ask you, we were talking about the jazz festival. Also, last year, The Awake won a Juno Award for Best Metal Hard Album. And do you believe that, I don't know what happened first, if the jazz festival or the Juno Award, do you believe that one thing led to another?
The Juno Award was the first thing. And then, a few months later, we were asked to participate to the jazz festival. Yeah. But I mean, the Juno Award really helped, having other opportunities to play festivals and big events. We were in demand, because we won that Juno, and it was pretty unusual for a metal band to win, because they didn't have really a metal category And so I guess they invented that category just because we had such a good year before that. Now, actually, before and after the Juno, I mean, since we released, uh, the Wave, all the reviews of that album was incredible. Like we had like a really, really good reviews in big magazine such as Rolling Stone gives a 9.5 and so on. So I think that the organization of the Juno Award almost had no choice to give us something, and the response of the album was so amazing, and so yeah, and since we released that record, we were really busy touring and touring and touring and touring. We ended up in last December, and we were actually saying, okay, well, maybe in 2020 we'll take a little break. But I didn't expect to have such a long break. And I didn't saw that pandemic situation coming. So, but yeah, we're with it now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snake, this 2020 is really putting us to the test, with this pandemic thing. And I'll step the line and risk to ask you for some of your favorites this year, this 2020. Snake, can you highlight for us 2 or 3 records for you on this mad year?
Two or three records for what? Sorry.
2 or 3 records that
Can you
really like this 2020. Something that you heard, new albums for this year, and you are really enjoying them. Some friends, some guys you even don't know. Tell us something about 2 or 3 records that you really like this year.
Ooh. To tell you the truth, I didn't really pick up anything. Uh, I don't know what came out in 2020, um, and I'm sure there is good albums that came out, but um, my focus was completely somewhere else, and sometimes I rather listen to old classic from old bands, and sometimes it happens that I'm gonna discover something new, but I'm just like an old classic, like old band like Saxon and fucking I don't know. I pick up like one of those records, and I like music the 80s and the 90s, and it's hard for me to maybe it's the age, maybe I'm too old for that, but to pick up something that's really gonna blow my mind today, it's really hard. I just find that music has evolved in a weird way sometimes. It's just like I don't know if it's about the sound or something, because it seems like it all sounds the same, and sometimes I'll listen to new bands and stuff like that. Maybe it's because they're using the same kind of studio effect or whatever, or like a preset sound of drums or whatever, but they kind of like sounding the same. It's not like the old days in the 80s, where actually when people were going into a studio, were creating their own sound, like, and that gives a particular sound to it. And nowadays seems like maybe artist comes in the studio. Oh, what do you want? What do you want? Oh, you want a snare? That snare? No, that snare. And then they pick up the sound like this, and they make it. But at the end, it kind of sound all the same, And I'm not saying that I've been disappointed, but if you ask me personally, what I really like, it's stuff from the 80s and the 90s, and I've been stuck there. I don't know why. That's the way it is. I'm an old man.
You're not old. You are a knowledge guy. So I'll say to George or Ivan to ask you a question.
George first. George.
Denis, Voivod is very popular in Brazil. What are your memories of the visit to Brazil in 2014?
Sorry?
Repeat. Voivod is very popular in Brazil. What your memories of the visit to Brazil in 2014?
Oh, I recall, like being pretty busy visiting everywhere around the cities, and but the last time I was there, it's sad to say, but the situation with Blackie at the time was not good, and that's all I really kind of remembering. And it's sad. It's just like he was about to leave the band, and so I was not focusing on having a good time at all because of that, And it's sad because, but I love the country. I love, I love it, South America in general, and but yeah, it was kind of sad to see that Blackie was not into the mood or anything like that. He was like going to leave the band, and so it wasn't a good feeling. But I remember that we visit a lot around, and there was a particular show that I really enjoyed in Joinville. Is it possible? Joinville?
I was there.
Joinville?
I was there.
Oh, you? Oh, nice. Yeah, that show. And what else did we play? But yeah, it was a fun tour. Just Blackie situation kind of like put a shade on it, and sadly, but things like that happen sometimes.
Ivan?
Eu queria perguntar para ele como é que funciona o processo criativo das músicas, já que as músicas não têm um norte, né?
Okay, Ivan is asking you the creation about the creation process. The way you write songs, believing that in fact there's no north, there's no magnetic field when writing songs. Can you tell us something more about the composition process?
Well, basically, it goes with the music. The music is the starter of everything. The way we process the whole thing is something like, okay, we go in the studio, we rehearse, we tape everything, we record everything, Sometimes we're gonna do like little improvisation. Sometimes people in advance, like Dewey or Rocky, would have some riffs, and then we build up a structure of music, and then I can add some melodies to it, and then once the structure is pretty much built, then I can let myself go about. I got inspired by the music, and sometimes I just let myself go and close my eyes and ask myself what that music could be about, or what would be the subject, what inspired me when I'm listening to it, and there it goes, it's like a movie in my, the movie, and so I start with a pencil and draw sometimes main lines and stuff like. But it never be the same process over and over. Sometimes it happens that I'm gonna have like a melody in advance, and then I'm gonna tell the guy, "Hey, what about this?" And they'll get inspired by the melody. But sometimes it's the opposite, and sometimes there is magical moment, like that song "Obsolete Being." Chewy came into the rehearsal place, and he had this riff. He said, "Oh, last night I had this riff on my head," and he started the riff. And as soon as he started the riff, boom! I had this melody going, just like instantly. And he heard that, and he stopped. He said, "Fuck!" He goes, "We have to record this. We have to record." Then wait! Don't lose it! Don't lose it! Keep going! Keep going!
Very good.
But it was the first thing I had in my mind. That's like boom.
This moment is magic.
And we kept it. It was a good shot. But yeah, there's magic sometimes. Hey, it happens like that. And sometimes we have to work hard to find what it could be. It's not automatically. It's just it needs work. It needs effort. But sometimes it's just like, something from the sky. I don't know. It's just like boom. It's like got the best idea you can have. And so yeah, it's fun. It's a fun process.
Very nice. Snake, today I was listening to Wake, and that's the starting point of the album is Obsolete Beings, and this reminded me that the subject of those lyrics are so present. We can be 20 years later in 2040, and I believe the subject will be something that will spot on, because I know that you allow people to make their own their own understanding about the lyrics, but I am sure that these lyrics in particular were saying something about the shallow lives, the emptiness that people live in at the moment. Is that what he wanted to to pass, the idea of waking up people, to live with people, eyes in the eyes, and leave the machines apart, so that people can do what they should be doing, communicating, having fun, feeling lives, and experimenting, experiencing life. This is the best way. Was that your intention?
Well, yeah, it's of course the way I put it together was it's fun, but I think the interaction of human beings has changed since we all have this device in our hands, and we can be with people and nobody talks to each other. You can have like a family reunion and nobody talks to each other. Everybody has their phone and they're not taking care they're not enjoying the moment. Then they're looking for something that it's not there. It's in their phone. Instead of talking to. I've seen people having dinner at the restaurant, with a family dinner at the restaurant, and nobody talks to each other. Everybody has their phone and being like a fucking zombie, watching their phone instead of saying, "Hey, hey dad, how's it going?" like, or "Hey mom, hey, what's up?" No, everybody's fucking looking at their device, and there is no interaction. And actually, I think it's a sad part of technology that and that people just focus on something that it's potentially there, but they're not enjoying the very moment of their life. Looking at the sun, looking at the trees, looking at the surrounding, the beauty of the nature. You can see people in the park, with all these beautiful birds and, lake and whatever, river, and everybody's watching their phone. And I think it's pathetic in a sense. And I think I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years from now. But I know there's a new generation that was born with a phone in their hands, and mentally, I don't know if it's good or not, but I mean, I'm worried about it because the human interaction is not there anymore. And we're human. We're a little species that has to communicate to each other in a certain way that more natural feeling. And I think it's weird. Just for an example, when you walk into, let's say, an airport, everybody, I mean, everyone has their phone and mind their own business and watching their phone. You can steal anything. You can steal a purse. You can steal whatever, a bag. Nobody would fucking see it because everybody is looking at their phone. And it's the world that is today. And I just wanted to point it out that the relation of obsolete goes with the phone as well, but goes as for the human. Are we about to disappear or to be some kind of an old-fashioned human being that's no longer adapted to the future world, and so it was a description of what was the world today. And when I say you live alone, we live alone, you live alone, we live alone, I live alone with my phone. That's it. And it's just it's a different way to see it, but yeah, that's the meaning behind all this stuff.
Okay, Snake. Let me ask you about Voivod's career. I'm sure that you have a favorite. Can you tell us, one of those albums from your career that you really, really, really like?
A Voivod album?
Yeah.
Well, every one of them has its particular history. It's a particular way of putting things together. There was a few good one, I think, and like Killing Technology is basically, it was a step further from when we started, and I think we just made a big step forward when we released that album. Dimension 8 that followed was good, and Nothing Phase. These three albums was in a period of time, a really short period of time, but we were so productive. And we were like flying, really. It's just like boom. And then, we had this short break, and we kind of switched direction when we did Angel Rat. And but it was good because we had to take another direction. We were going this way, and then and at the same time things got a little bit weird with Blackie, and it was a different time and a different zone, I would say. But people said that when it came out, Angel Rat didn't have a good response. But actually, I've seen people enjoying that record a lot because they kind of discovered afterwards. Maybe it was not the right time to release it, but it's a great album. And Outer Limits has its own way too. It's just every album, I think, it's an experience. Every album has something different than the others, with a different time zone and a different attitude to it. It's really interesting to see how the evolution of a career. If you compare my voice on the first record, there's some kind of an evolution there, right? And but I really liked these three, like Killing Tech, Dimension, Nothing Phase, and Outer Limit was great. And the last record, The Wake, is something that we really put everything that we had with this new team, with Chewy and Rocky, and so it's a kind of new vibe to it. And I really like the last album, and I'm proud of what we achieved. And everything has its own story, its own history behind it. If I recall, let's say when we were at the studio, when we did that with that, and it's and I would never change anything out of that, because I think it was part of what was going on at the time. So yeah, that would be my 3 or 4 album that I really like.
Okay, how about Hawaii's favorite artwork?
Sorry.
Miguel,
Next ceiling.
I'm trying to plug my phone. My phone is about to die.
Vamos aproveitar. Enjoying about the Outer Limits.
Okay.
The Outer Limit needs a new LP edition, please. The original is very expensive. Concorda, Miguel?
Final. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
have you seen the prices?
Yeah, artwork of.
Have you seen the prices of the Outer Limits LP on vinyl? It's crazy. Me and George, we are vinyl fans, and the Outer Limits is way beyond our pockets. Do you believe that there will be a reissue?
Oh, I don't know if it will be, but same deal with Angel Rat, and
Yes,
it's
true.
we yeah, we had a no, but it's not only that. It's because of the deal and with MTA at a time, and it gets complicated. But we're eventually going to work on reissues soon enough because people want those records, right? And the demand is there too. So eventually, but it takes time. It takes lawyers. It takes whatever, and
Yeah.
they're in a position that it's not, how we say that, even if there is a demand for them, it's not really important. It's such a big companies, and which is, but we're gonna make effort to make some reissues about certain records that got out of print and really rare and really pricey, especially with the
And we
little
thank you for
glasses,
that.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to go to the studio and ask you this. What was the hardest engineers that you've worked with in the past, and why?
The artist, what?
Engineers.
Engineers. You mean producer?
Yeah, in the studio. Yeah,
Yeah.
producer. Yeah.
Yes.
The artist. The hardest to deal with. No, I would say that it's really good ones. Glenn Robinson on Nothing Face did a really good job. Terry Brown on Angel Rat did a good one too. I mean, and I would say that also Francis Perron, which is the guy behind the Wake, he's a kind of guy that he doesn't count the hour. He's if he can wake up in the middle of the night and, oh yeah, I got the idea, and so hard working man, and because for Francis, I think the Wake was his album, in a sense that he wanted to do a really good job on it. So he put the double effort, double espresso, double whatever, but to make it happen and to make it sound good. And so, yeah, those guys are fucking killer machines, they really helped the band to sound great.
Okay. Ivan, George.
Hi. I have a curiosity. A curiosity. How did you feel when you saw Lemmy from Motorhead wearing a Voivod t-shirt?
Eu ia perguntar isso.
Actually, he got that T-shirt from Piggy.
Oh,
We
man.
went to see a show. I think it was in the 87, 86, 87. And they played in Montreal, and we were invited backstage. And Piggy gave him a shirt. And the next day, I think he was wearing it. And that's why you got that picture when he's sitting on this bed with his fucking bottle of Jack and fucking. Yeah, he was a character, eh? Lemmy.
Okay.
Met him a few times. He was great. But I'm a shy guy, you know. When it's time to meet Lemmy, I'm all shaking, you know. Like I just didn't want to interrupt, didn't want to make him feel bad. So I'm like, okay. I was quick, you know, like not trying to disturb him or anything. But I met him a few times at certain places, like shows, mostly, but also just hanging out at the on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, and you know, having a drink at the Rainbow, and finally end up at the same counter than Lemmy while he was playing machines, and and then I buy him a drink and talk a little bit, and yeah, he was cool, very cool guy.
Very nice. Snake, this for a last question, you know, everyone that is listening would like to have an idea, the same way you followed your heroes. You were just talking about one of your heroes, that was Lemmy. This last question perhaps brings me to the Voivod's Big Bang. You know, the way you started. You know, the band started and then decided to, you know, to make a pause, just even before you got in the band, and then you joined the band, and half a year later you are playing songs, you know, from your heroes. You were playing some covers from Judas Priest, Motorhead, and Venom. This would be a good advice, you know, for those who are starting. If this is a good way to start, you know, being Voivod, you know, a model band for lots and lots of players of today's, you know, today's kids are looking at Voivods and whoa, I love this band. I love the way they play, the way they build songs. Do you think this is good for them to, you know, to start doing covers?
Well, in the first place, you know, I guess when you start a band, you have to start somewhere, and to get the chemistry together between the four guys, you kind of have to enjoy quite the same music. But I would suggest them to not stick around too much on the covers. You know, you have to move forward with your own thing, your own creation, and I think that's and sometimes, you know, you have to create your own thing to be a little bit different than others, because otherwise people are going to sound the same. And we were lucky to have Piggy, for that matter, because he was a little bit older than us, but he was influenced by other kind of band, like progressive band, like Genesis and Gentle Giant and Yes and all that. So he had this kind of influence, and we were a little bit younger with all these, British band, the big wave of British bands like Motorhead and all that, and so his influence mixed with this new wave of British heavy metal created that song. And we had I like punk music as well, so like GBH and Discharge, and so it was a mixture of progressive heavy metal and punk and all together. And so that's why I think we had that particular way of putting songs together, and we were able to create our own style. But as for an advice for young people that start the band, try to reach something different than others. Try to reach the sparkling ideas that you can find, and it could be anything. Seriously, I get inspired by all kinds of things. Like I can hear a train going by, and it gives me the beat. Like ta-dun, 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 ta-dun. I can start from that and make music out of a train passing by. But you have to get inspired by all kinds of things, and that's what creates new stuff, I guess. And but obviously, you have to do original and make your own music, and sometimes it's hard, especially these days. I think for a band that starts now, it could be tough, especially in the pandemic thing. But yeah, it's a tough world, music, and being an artist. Simply being an artist is tough, Yeah, don't give up and be inspired by all kinds of things, and that's what creates other things, and the thing moves on, and that's the way it is. And Piggy, it's going to be 15 years on August 26th that he passed away. So to all the Voivod fans out there, have have a beer for Piggy on the August 26th.
Yeah.
We will, Snake. Just we are closing up, and let me pull again the idea of your live show on the next 9th. I would advise people to go online and look at Voivod's webpage, where they can find every info about the show. I believe it will be something like 15 Canadian dollars. It's quite cheap to see this special show. Of course, it's an interactive show, as Denis has said, that people will be able to participate, say something about a song, say something about a time where you guys met, and I close saying that I've met you once at Oporto last year for this The Awake. I met you and Away, and I can tell you that you guys are awesome. You guys have your feet on the ground, although you are flying everywhere to give us the best music ever. On behalf of the Portuguese guys, the Portuguese fans, thank you so much to Voivod, everyone on the team, to these new guys, Rocky and also Chewy, that they really they got into the band. They have their own personality, but they feel Voivod the same way Piggy felt, and also Blackie. I believe that we are thankful. Okay, thank you so much on the Portuguese behalf, people. On our behalf, and I'll give you Brazil now. Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you for serving us, Denis. Brazil loves Voivod. We'll wait for you here again, okay?
Obrigado. Thank you.
Oh,
as we should say, merci beaucoup.
Fechou?
Fechou. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Pessoal, obrigado aí pela audiência. Sexta-feira a gente tem uma live especial aí. Carlos Lopes, a lenda do Dorsal Atlântica no Heavy Culture. Fechamos aqui essa live com o incrível Denis, Snake, do Voivod. Obrigado a todos, Miguel, Ivan, Denis. See ya. Goodbye.
Tchau.
Tchau.
Sexta, Carlos Lopes, sexta.
Thank you.
19 horas no canal Heavy Culture. Abraço a todos. Valeu.
Abraço.